Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Motorsport Manager, and this is week number 16 of my series. At the end of the last episode, I was talking about whether or not I would include the next to last race of the season, but things have just gotten really interesting. In the last race, I had changed my mind. I decided I was not going to air this race because in the last race, I was most definitely 19th and 20th in the field, no doubt about it. My cars were absolutely blown away, and we did not have the tires to make it to the end and had to take extra pit stops. So when our performance was bad enough, plus the extra pit stop, we didn't stand a chance. So we literally got blown away out there. However, this race has been a very different story. We have the reverse start. There's no qualifying, so it's reverse based on your position in the overall standings. And my cars are last and 18th. So we started first and third. By the end of the first lap, Errant was into the lead, and Quinn was hanging on pretty well down in fifth. As time went on and the laps went on, Quinn slowly slid back, and you can see Quinn is 14th right now with one pit stop left to go. And yes, I know I'm churning through the tires. I'm going to make an early stop for Quinn, so I'm pushing Quinn, giving Quinn all they've got for that final stop. And then Errant, Haverberg was just flying, so Haverberg pushed to the lead and is 20 seconds ahead. But if you take Haverberg out of the picture, we're still sitting in second place. We've got a chance at a podium here. So I had no choice. It was time to set up and record. So here we are, week number 16 of competition, 8th of 9 races on the season number 3 to be exact. We're in Doha, and things are looking good. Haverberg has entered the pits and is fixing parts. That extra time... Oh, he's already back out. He's already back out. I think that 20 seconds is going to be more than enough. I think he's still going to be in the lead when he comes around again. Now, this time, I'm going to bring Quinn in. So Quinn is coming in this time, and will easily be good to go to the end. Setup is nice at 98%, and I'm going to keep Quinn on the medium tires that have the performance bonus, and I know I can actually race them hard to get to the end of the race. And we can, let's see, put one extra lap worth of fuel so we can run a little bit harder. All right, so Quinn, after the second round of pit stops are now getting underway, is in second place. Quinn is going to pit this second place. Second of my two cars is in the middle of the pack at 11th right now, but we'll see where they fall in after cycling through. Looks like the cars in front and behind are not going to be pitting this time. So Errant is currently in the lead, but Haverberg is just 13 seconds back and should be good to go to the end of the race. So we are not really competing for the win here. We are competing for second. Here's that ERS. Great chance to use that. There's still a little bit left. And we should be... No, I don't have a medium tire bonus for Errant. So Errant is going to go to the end and get just the fuel necessary for the end. So Errant is still going to run one more lap but we can step this up a little bit. I don't want to immediately go to churning through those tires, but at 51%, I think we can get a lap and a half pretty easily. All right, so Quinn is back out. We're going to drop that to high fuel mode, and let's just run normal for a little bit because we still have quite a few laps to go, but Quinn will be able to run hard once those tires do heat up. I just don't want them to heat up immediately. That did drop Quinn to 19th. There's still quite a few cars that have not pit yet, so there is still a chance that they will move ahead. And one more lap for Arent. Let's go ahead and use that ERS again. Use up what we've got for now. There we go. And one lap to go for Arent. And we're going to pit this time. And just a handful of laps to go, so we are going to put on the soft tires. And we only need enough to get to the end. We're going to put on a little bit of excess so we can push. And if we're going to add fuel, we might as well add enough to get us to the end and then some, so that we can run it hard. Yes, having the extra couple laps of fuel is going to slow us down by maybe 1/10 of a second, but by running hard, hopefully we can pick up 2 or 3/10 of a second. All right, now's that time to use that ERS. There we go. It's there on that front stretch. Coming out, looks like 18th will be Quinn's spot. So not last, at least. But the real story here is Arent, who is well ahead of most of the other cars, though a lot of the cars have already stopped twice now. So moment of truth will be here in just a little bit when Arent comes out of the pits. Will Arent hang on to, say, third? Is Verline going to stop this time? We'll see. Into the pits. Final stop of the day. So far, so good. Quick stop so far. Can we get the fuel and get out quick? In third place. Arent is in third place. Verline did not stop this time around. Verline has the lead. Haverberg is just behind in second place and is probably good to go to the end. Larandi has not stopped and is certainly going to have to stop still. So we've got 7-8 seconds back to the next car. And Verline, we're only 6 seconds behind Verline. So once we cycle through, I would think that Arent should still be in second place. Looking good. Plenty of fuel. Both cars have plenty of fuel to burn, and we are getting down to those last few laps. So it is time to run the wheels off of these cars. Not yet, though, for Arent. We don't want to run totally out, but Quinn, who's all the way down in 16th, doesn't have much to lose by trying to push it now. All right, so third place, now second. 3 laps remaining. Lots of excess fuel. Lots of excess fuel. Step it up. So Quinn is going to go all out for the rest of the race. Just a little ERS used there for some straight line speed. I need to time that right. This time, let's see, Arent has 33%. This would be a good lap to run that. And with only a couple laps left, I don't see why. Let's go ahead and turn up the pace. Arent is going to push towards the end. Is not that far behind Haverberg, and Haverberg pitted at least 2 laps, if not 3 laps earlier than we did. Their tires are kind of far gone, and we're only 5 seconds back and gaining. Does Haverberg have a fuel shortage issue? Are they just taking it easy on the tires? Do we have a shot at the win? We are pushing all out. No, the gap is staying the same, even with the ERS there. But can Quinn get anything done? Okay, we still have a bit of ERS stored there. Quinn is closing that gap on the cars in front. There's a pretty sizable gap back to 17th, so I don't think there's going to be any issues there. We have about 2.5 laps to go, and Quinn might not be... We're going to drop that down to high. We don't want Quinn to run out of fuel. Just at the 2.5 mark now, or at least 2 1/3. All right. Well, I think we are comfortably going to hang on for second place. We have a more than 10-second gap back to third. We're going to save up the ERS for the final lap. Quinn has picked up one spot. Let's go ahead and tune in on what is going on with Quinn, as Quinn is very much in traffic and has moved ahead of one car already. Only 44% left in those tires, but just started the final lap of the race. With that in mind, yeah, excess fuel to burn. So go back up to that highest mode, and let's check in with Arendt with our highest ever finish possible. Just a handful of corners to go in the beautiful section of the track. This is just a gorgeous track. That's what happens when you have lots of oil money and you use it the right way, unlike some of the other nations in that part of the world, that it all seems to go to just a couple families. All right, here we go, coming around the final bend. Aaron's going to use up what they've got left on that ERS. And second place, P2. Absolutely beautiful job. And here comes Quinn in 15th. Let's check in on Quinn. And Quinn's coming around that bend. And we are going to use that ERS. There's two cars just in front. Only one of them has any ERS left to use, but Quinn could not close that gap in time. And finishes 15th. For Quinn, that's... the second highest finish of the entire season. So still, not bad. Maybe third. Still, one of the better finishes of the season for Quinn. Great job by Aaron. Aaron never slipped back. We always start at the front, and then as time goes on, we slip to the back. Not the case this time. We stayed to the front, and you know what? If I remember correctly, back to season 1, it's been a little while since then. This is week number 16 of competition, and that would have been about 3 months ago. However, thinking back to that, I think it was at Doha, which was the final race of the season then, but we've added a race since then, and apparently that race was added to the end of the calendar. I believe it was in Doha where we had our top 8 finish that first season, and picked up all kinds of points and moved up in the overall standings on that final day. That's also what made season 2 difficult, in that the chairman expectations jumped from 10th to 8th when we really were not an 8th place team. So I think Doha had a lot to do with that. Now, next season, I don't mind if we have an 8th place requirement, or maybe even a 7th place requirement. We can do better, and the car is definitely improved, and we are more competitive now than ever. But on the wrong track, on the wrong day, we're still the worst car on the grid. And we'll take a look here in a second at what I mean by that, and we're going to push to get into that final race as well. I don't have a whole lot of time here, and I would like to get that last race in, so we'll move pretty quick. Ooh, look at that! Fastest lap bonus also goes to Angelica Arendt. So, great job. She actually ends up with the most points on the day, even though she finished in second place. And Alex Quinn picks up 6 points. And of course, all my sponsorship bonuses were down to just a single one left, and it was to finish first. So no sponsorship bonus. But I'll take the points. I will take their performance. 21 points. Absolutely fantastic. Arendt jumps to 15th in the standings with one race to go. And Alex Quinn remains last on the grid. Arthur Pick of course, was our former driver, replaced by Arendt. And if you even just take, that was 3 races and just 13 points for Pick. If you add that in, and 72 points, Arendt would be in 12th right now. So car number 1, at least for the full season, would be running 12th. Now, I already know for a fact that my team performs better as the season goes on than it does at the beginning. And a lot of that has to do with getting parts right, getting improvement in parts. We don't have a competitive team to begin with, but I'm trying to remedy that for next season. Speaking of improvement, look at that. We are 9th place now in the Constructors' Championship. We have broken away from the cellar, and we have a chance in the last race to potentially move up 1 or even 2 spots if things go our way, or we could just as easily slip back down to 10th place when we are only 4 points ahead. Great race, though. And when I even started recording, I honestly felt that I might just hang on for maybe 4th or 5th place and have a fantastic finish and get all excited. And it was 2nd place. That was awesome. That was incredible. And speaking of Arendt continues to improve. I know after the races, the improvement doesn't look to be a whole lot. But I've noticed that in between races, Arendt is still improving. Like consistency, when Arendt joined the team just a month and a half ago, Arendt was 11th. So we're really showing some improvement here. Arendt was barely 2 stars, just a shade over, already 2.5 stars. So fantastic job by Arendt to improve as a driver. And whatnot. Sorry, I've got maintenance crew outside doing yard work right now. I know that's pretty loud, but well, let's move on. Things are looking a little different than they were just 2 races ago, as we've seen some changes. For one, our pit crew is improved. We are now 5th best. We were 7th when I left you last, so we've moved up 2 spots in that. Our sponsors have dropped off from 1st to 4th, though. For one thing, we have a vacancy in our sponsor, and only had 1 offer, and it was not a good one. So we had 2 vacancies. We signed with CNN for slot 4, but slot 5 remains vacant. So that's one reason why we dropped down. Plus this race, we just finished another. So hopefully I'm able to get both. Team marketability is rising, 73% now. We are at 4 stars. We need to get that 5th star unlocked, but our headquarters is far away from being able to do that. Alex Quinn keeps picking up marketability bonuses, but was at 95% already, so it didn't hike much. But the team marketability has jumped from 50 to 64% from where it was just a couple races ago. Okay, I'm going to take a quick review of pit crew, and you are garbage, even though you can refuel. You can do tires and fixing, and 83 stamina is not bad. And your stamina's so low, you're not going to do anything. I'm learning to reject these so they don't just sit on offer. And we get new ones in. Stamina's great, 97. Pay is great for both of these. Mistake chances are definitely low. Tires is not that good, but you could do tires. You could do front jack and fixing. So you could do front tires or front jack. Maybe. You're definitely okay at tires and front. Let's go ahead and bring you in. You're cheaper too, so. Adding on more to the crew, and we'll get our crew set for the final race. Let's see. 8:10. Yes, we need to get you in because their stamina is very low. 10-7. It's our new one. And I'm not worried about the fixing at this point. Reliability is very good. I'd love to have you out there, but... Get this one on. There we go. Or do I want you refueling? Because you could refuel. You have a 7 on refueling. And better than these guys who are all sitting out. You're the only one we need to replace, really. And that's not good. Front jack, 69. That might be going back out there with, say, you, who could do the rear tires. There we go. Now let's see who's left for front jack. Just this one. They're at least a little better stamina wise and faster. Alright, back to this. Haverberg, car condition, quick interview. Let's check it out. Aaron has claimed that your engine seems to be holding the team back. Really? Again? Technical commentators seem to agree. Is it true? I already answered this question, Miss Arendt, who just got second place in the race. Jeez. She does need to button it. We do need more investment into our headquarters. Ouch. This is like a negative one. Okay. Pick review. Haverberg wins. Alright, let's go check out the car, and then we're going to try to push forward 1 month to the Russian Grand Prix. We are done designing parts on the car for this season. Reason for that is we've gotten the most out of it that we can get, besides improving car number 2 at the cost of millions, so I'm not going to do that. Our engine is still number 10 on the grid, but you can see how improved it is. However, that's relative. We'll get to that in a second. Acceleration is still very slow. Our gearbox is much improved, but same problem. But our braking is number 1. Now, at the start of last season that was a spec part. This season, it's been changed, so we all had the same level. I improved more than everybody else. So I have the best brakes, but it's all very close, top to bottom. While these are not close, which is the reason why we're still the 10th worst car on the grid, even though we're actually number 1 in one of the categories. And our suspension is definitely improved, but again, these are all still last place despite the improvement. Here's the thing, though. What I've done is I know how the game mechanics work. And if you understand the game mechanics for this game, it has a role to play, okay? And that role, right, fits into what happens going into next season. So if you're going to play a one-off and just play one season, you wouldn't do something like this. But if you're doing what I'm doing, if you're playing season after season, and especially if you're doing this lower league manager type series where you're starting your own team or you're taking the worst team and you're trying to build it into something. Okay, if you're starting in the lowest division and going to work your way up, this is vital to success. Let's go to fit parts. Now, if we look at our brakes, I have my 2 best, and they're both good part quality, okay, are on the cars right now. They're both fully reliable, and they're both full performance at this point in time. Right? And if you look at our spec parts, they're not going anywhere. Everybody has the same performance level. The only thing is they start with 80% reliability. You can improve that. I obviously have not done that at this point, but that's because I've had a lot of parts to go through this season. But here's the trick. The gearbox and the engine. I've done something major to the gearbox and the engine. Now, I have my original parts that I started with. And I fixed up one of those that was on the first car at the start of the season. Car 2 was stuck with one that had very low reliability. But that's because right away I added a new part, an average part. That's where it starts as you build up new parts. And I built up its reliability most of the way, and it performed better than the other part. And I put that on the car. But then I continued from there. The next part that I made was a good part. Okay, and you can see its performance level was also better. It's maxed out both in performance and reliability, and is now on car number 2 here going into the final race of the season. Then I made a third part. It was great. It maxes out the same at 187, but it has a bonus, an additional top speed plus 40, but it drops reliability by 10, and that's only during a race. But with maxed out reliability, that means I've got 90% reliability, so nothing's happening to this engine. And even though they're both 187, I get a bonus of plus 40 on race day. The part itself, though, is just 187. That's on car number 1. But here's what I did. I had enough money to do it, and this is how a team gets better. I took the best part that I could possibly put together. I made a 4th engine. It's listed at great. I haven't unlocked any higher categories. That's the best that I can do. But I took all of the best. Not the bonus race only, but the stock part itself. And even though it's at 269 right now, it maxes at 297. And I'm going to try to get it to that 297 before the end of the season here in 1 month. Reliability sucks, but I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the performance of the part. But here's the thing. Rule risk, very high. If I put that part on the car, we probably wouldn't finish the race. Or if we did finish the race anyway, we'd drop a couple places because it would get busted and banned. Banned parts mean nothing going into next season. However, when you start the next season, here's the thing. If you need to save money, you don't want to improve the car, you can't afford to improve the car, well, that's a real problem, because year after year, you're going to be stuck with the same car. And even if you improve parts over the course of the season, your car's not going to get any better. Here's how your car gets better. You build a part like this. Look at this. 187 was our previous best. Now, going into next season, my base engine would be based off of this. So meaning I'd have an engine somewhere around a 187 mark to start the season. By putting this part together and raising it to 297, I might be starting with an engine next season around 297. But it's not going to have any rule risk. Rules change year by year, and they sort it out. Air quotes, sort it out. Reliability, not a big deal. But if I get this performance up, next year's engine will be based off of this model. Meaning we'll have something about 110 points better than what we have right now. I've done the same thing for the gearbox. It's not as big of an improvement, but if I get that maxed out this month, that'll come to 321, and that's 70 better than the parts that I have now. I can't put these parts on the car. I can't race with them. I would be in a world of hurt if I did so, and I would probably have both parts banned. But for next season's car, for starting with a better car than what I have now, this is the way to go. Now, I haven't done that with the suspension because there isn't enough improvement out there in the suspension or the brakes to be able to do that. My brakes would come out exactly the same, so I could match this and have a 261 and put it on the second car if I can get it done. But instead, I'm going to focus on trying to improve my engine and gearbox for next year. All right, well, I am running out of time for this episode. There's absolutely no way that I'm going to get all the way to that final race and then be done. So, a month to go. There's not going to be a lot happening in that race, but it could have an impact on what our final standings are and what it sets up for next year. So I guess we're going to start next episode at the beginning of this next race, the final race of the season, and then we'll get a glimpse into what happens with the off season afterwards as we head off to season number 4. So we'll have one more episode this season, But that'll do it for this one. So our current standings are 15th and 20th. And here's the real moment of truth. Our estimated race position, 18th and 20th. And in that last race, the estimated position actually said 17th. So a lot of that had to do with the track itself. Our car was more suited to that track with the strong braking that we have. The engine didn't hurt us quite as much as it normally does. And that really, really helped Errant with that strong second place performance. So that was awesome as we managed to grab a podium here before the end of the season. And we've got a couple parts that will hopefully, and actually let's check on that now. Those are so close. Okay, 17 days before the race. So we're going to get these maxed out here in about 2 weeks. And then from there, doesn't matter what we work on. So we'll be in good shape. All right, well, that does it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe, and tune in next time on my road to the record. Bye for now.